it is the vlog ride, and we are actually on our way to an important and very personal pit stop on our way home. And I wanted to, well, it's Monday afternoon at time of recording. I wanted to finish up the discussion about, in response to film theory and the idea that Thanos is worthy to hold Mjolnir. The last video, we spent most of it talking about Odin. So we're going to tie that into the discussion and why it was important to have that talk. So I asked, and the question I closed the video with was, why does Odin set the enchantment? The diegetic answer is, of course, well, after Thor's coronation gets crashed by the giants, he has a hissy fit. Even though Odin tells him not to, him, Loki, and some of his buddies go and they crash the giant's realm. And Odin says, okay, I'm taking away your toys until you can learn to play better with others. That's the diegetic why. But why? It's very clear that the Odin who does this is not the Odin who took his daughter, as we learn in Thor Ragnarok, across the 9 realms to conquer them. He's not the same person. There has been a lot of change between who he was as the conqueror and who he is now. The conqueror would not have stopped his son. Why would he? It would, sending a conqueror, sending Thor to attack the giants and bring them under heel is a chance to bring them under heel. So, especially since they want to conquer the 9 realms, they're a threat. So, not the same, right? There are some differences here between these Odins. This is a man who has grown and has learned, and he is now governing his kingdom accordingly. So it would stand to reason then he's wanting something of his son to reflect that growth. The Thor who is happy to go off and just attack another sovereign kingdom, another sovereign realm, for a personal slight, which my reading is how he takes this, is the same kind of guy who would happily go trouncing across the realms and conquer. At the very least, he shows the same lack of valuing things like diplomacy and peace. The things needed to rule justly. So basically what I'm seeing here from what we know in Thor Ragnarok of the conquering, what we see in the first Thor movie, what we know of how Asgard functions in the present of the MCU, Odin doesn't want his son to be him. He wants him to be better. He does not want him inflicting violence across the realms for whatever purpose. If you are willing to go and inflict violence on another realm for personal reasons because they busted up your coronation, you'll pretty much be willing to go and conquer anyone for any reason. Why wouldn't you? I mean, can you give me a logical reason why? So he is wanting him to be better than him. So the person who's going to build Mjolnir has to be better. Does this affect Odin's ability to pick up the hammer or whatever? No. Don't be daft. It's irrelevant to Odin's ability to do anything with Mjolnir, whether it is pick it up or whether it is throw it or whether it is put it in a case, whatever, because Odin is the one who casts the enchantment. Asking the question of if Odin can pick up Mjolnir is kind of like asking the philosophical, navel-gazing question, can an omnipotent God create a boulder that he can't move? It's kind of along the same lines. Could Odin put in an enchantment that even he could not pick up the hammer? Sure. But then again, he's still the master of the enchantment. If he needs to pick it up, he can override the enchantment without even having to break it. He's the master of the enchantment. That's kind of how godlike powers work. It's like, yeah, God can create a boulder that he can't move until his omnipotent power lets him move it. I guess it'd be kind of like Superman, where Superman becomes literally as strong as he needs to be. His power starts off at one level, and then when the writers need a more challenging opponent, Superman's able to rise up to that next power, and on and on. It's kind of like that. Basically what I'm saying is that the idea of Odin being able to pick up Mjolnir, even if he himself would not consider himself to be worthy, which, like I said, we are looking at a different Odin at this point. We are looking at a character who has already been through his arc of change. The idea that he would still be able to pick up the hammer even if he did not meet the criteria we're about to set for picking up the hammer, or I should say interpret, the idea that he would still be able to pick it up is not something coming out of my ass. This is something that is shown when you're talking about godly beings and philosophy, when we are talking about how superpowered beings have been presented, right? The king of all the gods, the Allfather, he's supposed to be more powerful than the other gods around him. So, there you go. All right. So we have that set up. We know why, like thematically why, right? We've got the diegetic of, you know, this had happened, but what does it mean? Okay, well, now we have discussed what this means, right? By looking at the movies, this is what this means. Odin wants Thor to be a better king than Odin was. To not be a king who is going to go and be a bloodthirsty conqueror, but to be somebody who is going to be an even leader. Who is going to know when violence is appropriate and when it is not. Who is going to know how to put himself first, or to put his kingdom first before himself. Things like that. Okay. That is what he wants. And I think we can all agree on that pretty easy. I think that's kind of self-evident. It's not something that takes a whole lot of interpretation or a big stretch. All right. So, what about Thanos? Well, what does Thanos do in the movies? When he gets introduced in the MCU, and everything that we see him do across it, up until Infinity War, and in Infinity War, he is going across the universe, and he is attacking worlds, and he is killing off half the population very violently. And we see glimpses of this in multiple movies. Okay. Well, I know we at least see, like, the violence itself in Infinity War. I think we see other glimpses elsewhere. But this is also discussed across multiple movies of what it is Thanos is doing at the very least. This is an ongoing thing. He is doing this and has been doing this for a while. Once he is gathering the stones, he takes Gamora, when he gets his hands on her, takes her to where the Soul Stone is. He sacrifices her and gets the stone. A soul for a soul. Alright. This is a mirror to Odin. Yeah. This is a mirror to Odin. If we are going to be talking about, Thanos' worthiness for Mjolnir, we have a very clear mirror for looking at this. Just as Odin goes across the 9 realms with a very, very bloody war that is led by Hela and him, Thanos is marching across the universe in a bloody war, killing off half the populations of worlds. When this war stops, what does Odin do? When Odin has his conquest, for whatever reason he decides to end it, he locks Hela away. He locks Hela away for the sake of the realms. Why does Thanos sacrifice Gamora? And his twisted mind sacrifices Gamora for the good of the universe. Her sacrifice gets him the Soul Stone, which is one of the stones that he needs for the Infinity Gauntlet that is going to enable him to wield the power of the stones and snap half the universe out of existence, thus solving a lot of the problems that the universe is facing. We see a parallel, right? For the sake of worlds, for the sake of universes, for the sake of realms, a daughter is sacrificed. Whether it is Odin locking away Hela, or it is Thanos sacrificing Gamora. And what is it that I just said? It's really apparent, and I think we can all agree, Odin wants Thor to be a better leader than him. He wants him to understand the just application of what? Violence. When is it appropriate to use violence? We all agree, mostly, that what Thanos is doing is really bad because he's murdering half of all life in the universe. We agree this is bad when he sacrifices Gamora in order to get the Soul Stone. Thanos isn't worthy. Even if we even if we don't want to have the argument about whether or not sacrificing someone else and sacrificing yourself are morally equal, putting that aside, thematically, he's not worthy to hold Mjolnir. By the enchantment Odin himself put on, and the reasons that Odin would have had, like the why, not the what happened, but the why it's important. Thanos wouldn't fit the bill. He would not even kind of fit the bill. The text message that Matt Pat gets at the beginning of the video, Thanos would be getting that going, dude, I'm not helping you. You're not worthy. Screw off. Go away. Stop stalking me. It is not thematically fitting that Thanos could wield Mjolnir. It does not flow with the story as established through the movies of the MCU. It is not, even matching it up, even trying to match him up beat for beat with the other characters, it doesn't match up, right? Steve does not toss Bucky, off in order to try and save people and stop Hydra. He sacrifices himself in order to stop this, right? Black Widow does not toss Clint off of the cliff in order to secure the Soul Stone. She sacrifices herself so that Clint can get it and take it back. Tony doesn't go, hey, I need somebody to do the snap here. He does it, even though he knows that the power's going to kill him. He cannot wield that kind of energy without it ripping his body apart. And none of them, right? Captain America does not march across Europe to try and, defeat the Nazis and Hydra. Black Widow doesn't go around killing innocent people because, of whatever reason. Nor does Tony. In fact, when Tony realizes that innocent people are being hurt by the things that he's doing, he takes steps to correct the mistakes he's making. Beat for beat, Thanos is not following the heroes. But beat for beat, he is matching Odin when Odin was the cruel conqueror, when Odin was the kind of king he would not want Thor to be, and the kind of king that at the beginning of the first Thor movie, Thor looks like he could easily become. Now, I did say, maybe Odin is worthy. Because very clearly Odin has changed and has gone through an arc. So, with that in mind, what about Thanos? Here's the thing about arcs. Character arcs that involve change require things to happen that draw out that change. At the end of Infinity War, Thanos has gotten his way. He has the Infinity Stones. He has snapped half of the universe out of existence. He has achieved everything that he wanted, including sacrificing his daughter, which he always knew he would do. There is nothing in that to invite a change in his character that would at any point make him to become worthy. He's just not. So there you go. That is my long explanation. I had posted a comment on Matt Pett's on the Film Theory video, kind of like briefly explaining why I didn't agree. This is my much more long-winded and two-part video of why I don't agree. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it interesting. And please, if you have your own thoughts about, what I've talked about here with, the story of these characters and the parallels that I have established, for this question, any thoughts that you have, please share them in the comments. If you like this video, like, share, please subscribe and ring the bell. Hit me up on Twitter.